Hey you guys, and welcome back. My name is Tina Frank, and I'm here with the random thought from Acts chapter 2. Now, if you remember last time, I kind of left you hanging. A couple questions last time. We're going to address one of those this week, and the other one, we're going to let it go until later on in our discussion on the different chapters inside Acts. I think you may actually figure that out on your own as you're studying. So, Acts chapter 2. Let me kind of give you an overview of Acts chapter 2 so that we can be on the same page as I share my random thought. Remember, coming into Acts chapter 2, the apostles are waiting. Jesus has ascended and the apostles are waiting for a gift that they're to receive from God. They didn't know how long, they didn't know what, but they were just waiting. Well, now the day of Pentecost has arrived. So it's been 10 days since Jesus ascended. All the believers are together celebrating Pentecost and enjoying one another when all of a sudden there's a wind that comes up and around that place. And in the middle of their celebration, this wind comes up and rocks the house. And all of a sudden they see tongues of fire in a tangible way, and they land on each and every one. And in that moment, they start speaking in different languages and articulating who God is and worship and praise unto God. Wow, I can't imagine. They go out onto the street, and people around them are like, who are these Galileans speaking in my dialect? The only explanation they can come up with is that they're drunk. When Peter heard this, he knew, oh, this is not right. And so he was bold, and he stood up. And Peter the fisherman, the guy, the weird, I don't know, crazy guy, delivered this amazing message. A message, remember? Jesus told him that he was going to build his church on him. And this was that moment. Jesus started the church that day, that moment at Pentecost, with those 120 people in a room celebrating a Jewish holiday, awaiting the gift that their Messiah promised them. That gift was to go out, remember? To go out into all the world and preach the gospel. I want you to note every person in that building got that gift. All 120 went out. All 120 spoke in a dialect where someone else could understand. And then Peter took all that knowledge that Jesus had put into him those 3.5 years, that knowledge he had poured into him over the 40 days previously, and he lifted his voice and he delivered a message. And in that time, people listened. People were excited. They were like on the edge of their seats. So when Peter was done talking, he said, what do we do next? And 3,000 people that day gave their life to Jesus and were baptized. Wow. So why? Why did he have to wait? Why did God tell him to wait? See, what I've learned and what my random thought is, God's timing isn't just about me. I have something to do with it for sure, because he has a purpose and a plan for me. He had a purpose for those 120 people, to go out and to preach. For all of us, it's to go out and to tell people the gospel. But for Peter that day, he was going to establish his church. And to establish his church, he needed to have people. If they'd have gone out that day, they wouldn't have ran into hardly anyone maybe. But that day, the day of Pentecost, 3,000 lives were changed forever. 3,000 people got the gift of eternity. Have you ever thought about that? Eternity's for everyone, but we get to choose how to spend it. So thanks for joining me today. That's my random thought. We'll get back to that second question as we go through more chapters in Acts. So join me again for Acts chapter 3. Have a wonderful week.